Karma is real. Here's real proof that God punishes narcissists for being unjust to you. You may not have seen it clearly back then, but you served as an unseen force, an emotional and spiritual buffer standing between the narcissist and their inevitable unraveling. Your compassion, your strength, and your unwavering moral center acted like a protective aura, temporarily holding back the storm that raged within them. But the moment you stepped out of their grasp, that protective energy dissolved. And in its absence, the consequences began to unfold, deep, spiritual repercussions they can no longer outrun. First consequence, the agony of watching you rise. For someone who feeds on control and illusion, nothing is more soul-crushing than seeing someone they tried to break flourish. Your joy, your healing, and your renewed purpose strike at the very heart of their worst fear, becoming irrelevant. They once imagined themselves imprinted on your soul, believing the damage they caused would define your future. But when you begin to bloom, when your light returns even brighter, they are forced to witness their failure. Every smile you wear, every step forward you take, becomes a painful reflection of the power they never truly had. It's a spiritual reckoning, watching their intended victim transcend and thrive. Second consequence, their body begins to betray them. What festers in the spirit will eventually echo in the flesh. The weight of their own bitterness, anger, and buried shame doesn't stay hidden. It begins to leak into their physical form. Aches without cause, fatigue without relief, and illnesses without diagnosis start to take root. As time passes, the mask of superiority becomes harder to hold, worn thin by internal chaos. Stress becomes their constant companion, accelerating the aging process and igniting destructive patterns they can't control. Addiction, illness, and emotional collapse are not random. They are physical reflections of a spirit corroded by its own darkness. Every wound they inflicted finds its way back to them, etched into their body like a curse returning to its source. Third consequence, the return of their own darkness. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back the energies we project. For narcissists, this truth arrives with unmistakable force. What they inflict on others, be it betrayal, deceit, or cruelty, doesn't vanish into the void. It circles back, reshaped by life, but unmistakably theirs. The one who weaves lies soon finds themselves entangled in deceptions they didn't see coming. The manipulator becomes the pawn. The betrayer gets blindsided by those they once trusted. The abuser, once drunk on control, is abruptly discarded by those they thought they owned. It's not just karmic, it's poetic. Their own tactics turn inward, collapsing their illusions of dominance. And because it's unexpected, often coming from the very people they believed were loyal, the lesson hits with brutal clarity. They're forced to choke on the very poison they once served with a smile. Fourth consequence, a soul marooned in eternal disconnection. Perhaps the most devastating blow isn't external, it's the void that forms within. Despite the illusion of popularity or influence, narcissists are spiritually estranged. They might be surrounded by faces, but not a single soul truly knows them, let alone loves them. Every relationship is a transaction, a means to an end, leaving their inner world barren and untouched. Real love, real connection, the lifeblood of the soul, eludes them completely. It's a torment they can't escape, always being seen, yet never truly felt. Over time, even the enablers begin to see through the charade. The once admired narcissistic parent becomes a burden, a source of shame, someone to be shut out. The same dynamic they use to maintain control becomes a trap of their own making. Their child, also shaped by narcissism, rejects them, not from strength, but from disgust. In the end, Even among family, they are emotionally exiled. And in that cold silence, they are haunted by the truth. They have never truly experienced love, not from others, and not from themselves. Fifth consequence, the curse of eternal emptiness. At the heart of every narcissist lies a hunger that nothing can satisfy, a bottomless void that swallows every achievement, every compliment, every ounce of admiration. No matter how much they gain, status, attention, power, or applause, it slips through their fingers like sand. It's not just discontentment, it's a spiritual affliction. Beneath the glittering mask lies a soul starved of meaning, endlessly chasing moments that fade before they can be savored. For them, fulfillment is a mirage, always visible, never reachable. Internally, they are trapped in a state of spiritual malnutrition, cut off from the essence of joy, empathy, and connection. Every victory rings hollow. Every relationship eventually becomes a reminder of what they can't truly feel. This inner hollowness is not just discomfort, it's a sentence, a lifelong imprisonment in a world of grey where nothing truly lands, and nothing brings peace. And the cruelest irony, it is their own actions, their manipulation, betrayal, and cruelty that forge this prison. I didn't fully grasp the depth of this until one of those strangely serendipitous encounters I seem to keep having. Uninvited therapy sessions with narcissists, as though the universe keeps pulling back the curtain for me. In one of those moments, I listened as a narcissist described their experience during a psychedelic journey. You'd think that in such a vulnerable, expanded state, there would be catharsis, self-reckoning, perhaps even healing. But what unfolded was the opposite. Instead of breakthroughs or emotional clarity, they were met with an eerie absence. As their inner landscape opened, it turned desolate. They described it as lifeless, irritating, dull, devoid of beauty or meaning. The very things that usually bring awe and joy to the human spirit, nature's patterns, colors, sensations, the miracle of existing, felt empty and annoying. And as their journey reached its end, their entire world collapsed into a tiny, meaningless bubble, and then simply popped. Gone. What was left? I asked. Nothing, they replied. Just black and white. No feeling, just irritation, sadness, emptiness. That's the fate of a soul that's become severed from its own light. A life where even altered states cannot pierce through the self-imposed fog. A world where meaning can't take root, because the soil of the spirit has been scorched. So, does something like ayahuasca or psychedelic-assisted therapy offer a path to healing for narcissists? The honest answer, no, not in the way many might hope. The individual I mentioned sought transformation, expecting some cosmic insight to pull them from the void, but instead emerged feeling more fragmented, more hollow than before. And that reveals something profound. Narcissism isn't just a disorder of the mind, it's a disturbance of the spirit. At their core, narcissists embody a corpus of energy, one steeped in envy, pride, greed, and a haunting spiritual emptiness. The harm they inflict isn't simply emotional manipulation. It's a soul-level assault, designed to sever your connection to your intuition, your peace, and your inner divinity. Their presence drains light, not just joy. It's not healing they seek, it's control, validation, and power. That's why spiritual medicine can't touch them. There's nothing within willing to surrender, to soften, to change. But here's what matters most. The moment you step away, when you refuse to carry their spiritual weight any longer, a shift occurs. You are the unseen shield, transmuting, absorbing, grounding the chaos they couldn't contain. In your strength, they found stability, even if they never acknowledged it. But when you reclaim your energy and walk away, their carefully crafted illusion begins to crumble. Without your light, they are left to face their own storm, raw, exposed, and alone. The spiritual fallout is inevitable. Isolation, vulnerability, a deep, knowing sense of irrelevance. The very darkness they projected now becomes their own environment. You are the guardian standing between them and their self-destruction. And now, with you gone, there's nothing left to hold it back. So we'll close this chapter here. I'd love to hear your reflections, your stories, your thoughts, your truths, in the comments below. And as always, until next time, stay grounded, stay empowered, and let the healing continue.